There's a viral story going around about Jessica Alba being kidnapped at the age of 15. It all happened in Australia when she was missing for 14 hours until they found her bound and gagged in the trunk of a car. But this story is far more complicated than what's being told on social media. So let's get into it. So many of you guys have reached out and you've asked me to talk about this Jessica Alba story where she was allegedly at 15 years old blindfolded, bound, and gagged in the boot of a car while filming in Australia. Pretty much kidnapped. We all know Jessica from the movies and television, but I've never came across this story before. Now, I want to reiterate that this story has been debunked by Jessica. We're going to talk about that towards the end, but I want to talk about how we even got to this point. This article reads, Jessica Alba, one of Hollywood's brightest stars, is known for her captivating performances in films and her entrepreneurial success. However, an often overlooked chapter of her life involves a harrowing experience in 1996. When she was just 15 years old and rising to fame on the set of a TV show called Flipper. Now, in the spring of 1996, while filming the show in Australia, Jessica mysteriously disappeared without a trace. For 14 agonizing hours, her family, friends, and the production crew searched for answers. Jessica Alba was eventually found, bound and gagged in the trunk of a car miles away from set. The circumstances surrounding her abduction were chilling. Prior to the kidnapping, Jessica reportedly received a strange and unsettling phone call, several, which were believed to be connected to her disappearance. However, concrete evidence tying the calls to the crime was never uncovered. You guys are probably like, holy crap, Sloan, that was information overload. So she's 15 years old, working on set in Australia, and then someone, I guess, abducts her, bounds her, gags her, and she's recovered then 14 hours later. I mean, that's a lot of info.
She wasn't yet a mainstream actress, so her agency did nothing about her security. She only got recognized by her fans a few times, so her parents probably thought security shouldn't be a big deal at that point. Her agency also believed that getting her any security wouldn't come off well in her image, since she would seem unapproachable to her fans and supporters.
If there's ever a question if someone needs security or not, I think that it means they need security. Despite the serious nature of this crime, investigators were unable to identify any suspects or motive. The lack of forensic evidence and eyewitness accounts made the case particularly challenging, this article writes. After months of searching for leads, the investigation stalled and was closed without resolution. This article reports that the ordeal remains a perplexing cold case, but has sparked curiosity and speculation for years. What was behind the kidnapping? What was their motive? I mean, I would rather just ask Jessica what happened. Online users were shocked learning about this kidnapping story, with one person writing, the fact that she stuck it out in the industry and became such a sexualized woman is wild. With another person adding, what the F is this story? This is creepy. It's even freakier when you see that a lot of her roles end up involving kidnapping. So if this story is true, it sounds like traumatizing, like that would be triggering for me.
This is no time for compliments. I have them. Your children.
Help!
Oh no. Oh yeah, I would be triggered.
Now, the deal is simple. I'm a heartbeat away from concluding our business here.
Oh no, another one? This one's different, a whole other role.
Okay, it's the last load. Wrap it up.
Oh my gosh, are they gonna like dunk them in the ocean? That would be so scary.
Mom, I thought she was working late.
Let's go.
Alexis.
You want me to drive?
Maybe she's just good at playing a kidnap. Did this like inspire someone to kidnap her, or is she just good at playing kidnapped women?
I turned into mist and slipped under the door.
Okay. Oh my gosh, they're all like bound the same way too. Something over the mouth and then tied hands behind the back and on the legs. Now people are running with this article on Twitter and creating these conspiracies, with one person writing, I feel like she got lucky somehow. Like the kidnapper was interrupted, had a delay, or somehow otherwise the plan failed. Jessica Alba also became a millionaire from one same idea. sounds like protection. This report says while Jessica has rarely spoken about the traumatic event, she has demonstrated remarkable strength and resilience through her life. They write, instead of letting the incident define her, she moved forward and starred in major blockbuster films. But it turns out that she's not all that resilient, or at least not in the way that we're speaking of, because this entire story has been debunked. I mean, what are we talking about, people? I have people asking me that, like, Jessica Alba was kidnapped when she was 15, but it turns out it's not true. This article writes, yesterday, a tweet went viral claiming that Jessica Alba had been kidnapped when she was 15. Well, as it turns out, Jessica was never kidnapped, and the entire story is completely fake. During a 2005 interview with Complex magazine, Jessica was asked about the kidnapping claims, and she firmly set the record straight. 2005? Wow, that's insane. So we're talking about this 20 years later, and she was still addressing it back then, which is like, why are we still talking about this? Like, where there's smoke, is there fire? Did something really happen? The interviewer asked, according to the internet, when you were filming the remake Flipper, you were kidnapped. Is that accurate? She responded, no. When the interviewer questioned her again, inquiring, you've never been kidnapped, and she clarified once again, no, she has not. If you do look at the interview that she did, she's giving like one-word answers when she's asked about the kidnapping. She's like, no. But when you look at other questions, she's a little bit more descriptive. So I think it's interesting she doesn't really explain where these came from, or she's not even like shocked at like the allegation. If it was me, I would have been like, no, where did you hear that from? And who's trying to come and get me? Now, the tweet that went viral has been deleted after Twitter tried to clarify that this was not true. Jessica also released a book called The Honest Life, in which she published in March 2013. She talks about her family's insights, lessons that she's learned, but no mention of a kidnapping. Though Jessica has had other experiences in the industry, with this article reading that she puts up an armor of masculinity to avoid being preyed on in Hollywood. Jessica says she amped up her masculine energy when working in Hollywood before the Me Too movement. Jessica claims that Hollywood was really different before the Me Too movement, and she had to curse like a sailor and try to make herself as unavailable as possible so no one would take advantage of her, calling herself a warrior. Here's an interview she did talking about how different it was.
There's a lot of focus on your looks in your acting career. The question I have is, did that bother you, the degree to which you were objectified as a sex symbol?
I guess I understood that I needed to help sell the product, and they sell it how they do. So I understood it as a business decision and a strategy. I was definitely not that person. I was very nervous about all of that, and I was quite uncomfortable in my own skin. And I think it wasn't until I became a mom that I really started to even see myself as a woman or a sexual being or someone who owned her power and her femininity. At that time, I felt like I was very much having to put up this armor of masculine energy, so I wouldn't, be preyed on, because there were a lot of predators in Hollywood from, age 12 till 26.
She told People magazine, I've always wanted to be treated the way I saw men being treated. Men were told, oh, you're really smart if you have ideas about a character or a story. But when she gave her input, they could care less. It still feels that way today in Los Angeles. Even though the Me Too movement has brought more attention to some of the on-set behavior, there's still a battle for women and men to prove themselves to the higher ups. And especially it's difficult for women. I don't know why I just thought about like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, but that does not, I don't know if that applies there, because she really viciously fought him for her spot there. But yeah, I don't think she wants to be like a Blake Lively. Jessica Alba never was. She seems like she was kind of ahead of her game, just trying to make sure she never went into these hotel meetings or stayed after set, after work, to go and hang out with her coworkers, because it's unprofessional.
How did you deal with that? I
was a warrior. I put up that I think my energy was really like, ugh, I was really tough, man. I cursed like a sailor, and I think I tried to make myself as unavailable as possible so that I wouldn't be taken advantage of.
She also said some really creepy things in Cosmopolitan. This reads, I went through puberty really early when I was 11. It makes you feel weird, like your uncle is now hugging you a little bit longer than he used to. Oh no, that is so creepy. I wonder who the hell her creepy uncle is. My mom would say, you have a body and it's very womanly and people don't understand that you're 12, she explained. Older men would hit on me and my youth pastor said it was because I was wearing provocative clothing when I wasn't. It just made me feel in a way desirable to the opposite sex. She says, it made me feel like if I was in any way desirable to the opposite sex, that it was my fault and it made me feel ashamed of my body and being a woman. I was meant to feel ashamed if I tempted men, which is crazy because that was a big part of her entire career. Like, that's why they hired her. In Hollywood, you're really preyed upon. If they see a young girl, they just want to touch you inappropriately or talk to you inappropriately. Wow. So she's really going off. She says, so then I created this pretty intense don't F with me attitude. I had to create a harder shell about being a woman. Over the decade that her career skyrocketed, Jessica found herself as the sex symbol. That's why she was hired. As a devout Christian, Jessica was also vocal about waiting to find the one before she had sex. She said, I was a virgin. I knew I wanted to be in love with the person I slept with because for almost everyone I knew, the first experience made them feel like crap. In 2006, Jessica graced the front of Playboy's 25 Sexiest Celebrities. She's been named one of the most beautiful celebrities of all time. Congratulations, Jessica. But she says, my sexuality makes me very uncomfortable, telling Style magazine. I remember my first Maxim shoot. The photographers were telling me to pose a certain way and I was like, ugh, I'm 19, I'm a virgin. I don't even know how to do that. Oh gosh, like maybe they're like posing like a position or something. She said, I sort of went through a life crisis and I was like, this isn't what I set out to be. I'm so much more than this, but I don't know how not to be a sex symbol. That's a tough problem. Or what a nice problem to have, but also not, I'm still sympathizing with her, but like, oh gosh, to be beautiful. Despite her observations, Jessica Alba had built a thriving career as an actress, starting with her breakout role in the 2000 Fox series Dark Angel, then in movies like Sin City and The Fantastic Four. In 2012, she founded The Honest Company. Ooh, that's some good money, which focuses on eco-friendly consumer goods. Her company is valued over $1.4 billion, so she is definitely doing her big one with that. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. What an interesting story to start off with, though, the kidnapping. It's so detailed, and I question, like, if this did not happen, who wrote this article? Who's motivated by this, and how does fake news, I mean, we see fake news spread all the time, but for this story to continue like 30 years after the incident happened is pretty, bizarre. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.